What's up everybody, it is I, Hero Vange, and welcome to my comparison of the top steel types in Pokemon Go PvP for Great League. And this right here is where we're gonna start off. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Like, how do I know that these Pokemon are the top performing, the best steel types in Great League? Well, what you do is you go to PvPoke, you go to this website right here, right? And you type steel in the rankings, right? And you're gonna see the top performing steel types, and at the very top you're gonna see Registeel, which is in our graphic, Bastiodon, which is also in our graphic, and then Skarmory, which I did not put in the graphic, but the reason why is because I am going to cover that in another video, which is gonna be a comparison of flying types. But right underneath it, Melmetal, I put that in the graphic, right? So we have Registeel, Bastiodon, Melmetal, and these are the Pokemon that we're gonna cover. Going back to the graphic, I am limiting myself to 3 Pokemon to cover because I cannot cover every single steel type out there. That would be impossible. Alright, so if you have a steel type that is not featured here, just follow along with these matchups so that you can compare and contrast your steel to the steel types that are recommended on PvPoke. Alright, so these are just a set of categories of Pokemon that I feel are very important for you to know. Now, this right here is just the first page. Alright, there's gonna be a second and a third page with even more Pokemon, but I just want you to know that I cannot cover every single Pokemon out there. This is kind of just a restricted meta that I see in Go Battle League. Some of these you're gonna see on PvPoke as some of the top ranking Pokemon. Others are just Pokemon that I see in Go Battle League that are pretty strong that I feel you should know about. Also guys, if you're wondering what moveset is he talking about, what moveset is the best for these Pokemon, what moves are gonna give me this matchup, check out the pinned comment down below. That is everything you're gonna need for the movesets. This is where we're gonna start off, alright? So we're gonna keep it nice and simple, one line at a time from left to right, okay? The first thing that I want you to know is what do I mean when I say zero shield throw. When I say zero shield throw, what that means is we're not gonna block with Registeel, right? No shields, as you can see, and we're gonna straight throw Focus Blast onto Bastiodon. And if Bastiodon blocks once, you don't have to block, right? You're gonna get to this second Focus Blast to kill the Bastiodon. You can tank this one flamethrower, alright? That's what I mean when I say zero shield throw. If your opponent blocks once, you don't have to block. And in some cases, you might not even need to block even if your opponent blocks twice. But for Bastiodon, if he blocks twice, you're gonna need to block once, so you can stay one shield behind with your Registeel, alright? So if he, blocks twice, as you can see, you die, you just stay one shield behind, you go one shield, alright? And you will get to this third Focus Blast that will kill the Bastiodon. And so going back to the graphic, you can see there that with the Bastiodon versus the red Registeel, right? It loses, plus Registeel does not need to block. Zero shield, straight throw with the Focus Blast, it can kill the Bastiodon. Now, what I mean when I say playable is you're gonna have to block your opponent's killing shot, and you're gonna have to land your own killing shot, right? Which is gonna be a certain charge move, right? For example, Melmetal versus Registeel, you have to land 2 superpowers on Registeel if you want to kill it with your Melmetal, right? And if you're Registeel, you have to land the Focus Blast. So let's say you were able to block 1 superpower, you can actually get to your Focus Blast. Even if you go straight Focus Blast, actually, you don't have to go for the bait. As long as you block 1 superpower, you can actually tank the 2 debuffed superpowers to get to your second Focus Blast that will annihilate the Melmetal. So I hope that this one line is very clear to you, right? With Registeel versus Melmetal, it's playable. You land the Focus Blast, you win. You land 2 superpowers, you win. Bastiodon versus Registeel, Registeel wins, plus does not need to block. If Bastiodon blocks twice, then you're gonna have to block once. You can stay one shield behind, but straight Focus Blast, you kill Bastiodon. And then with Bastiodon versus Melmetal, it's just a straight up loss. toss, one shield, straight superpower, Melmetal wins. So I suggest looking for a nice time to swap out. Alright, so we're moving on to the next line, Altaria. You're gonna see this bird everywhere in Go Battle League for Great League, right? So you already know what a zero shield throw is, right? But Registeel here wins. That's why Altaria is not red. So Registeel, zero shield throw, straight flash cannon, beats Altaria. Now when the graphic says hard countered, what this means is you don't have to throw any charge attacks, right? You don't have to block. Okay, so super hard countered. Bastiodon hard counters Altaria, just straight smackdown. You win, plus you come out with 100 energy. You can throw that on the next Pokemon. So the green here means that is a fantastic matchup. Pray that every time you go into GBL, you get this matchup somehow. And then with Melmetal versus Altaria, you win that. And you don't have to stress about Rock Slide versus Thunderbolt. You can win either way. This is with Rock Slide, one shield on both sides. You're gonna see that Melmetal is gonna come out on top with like a significant, like a lot of HP. Thunderbolt, one shield on both sides. You're gonna see that he wins, but definitely less HP. But you know, Melmetal still picks up the win. Moving on to the blue bunny over there that you're gonna see on almost every single team. It's playable, right? Azumarill versus the Steel types is playable. For Registeel, just go straight Flash Cannon. Try your very best to block at least one Hydro Pump. If it goes straight Hydro Pump, if you go straight Flash Cannon, as long as you block one Hydro Pump, you can win. It's very tight though. Very, very tight. Now for Bastiodon versus Azumarill, Azumarill needs the Hydro Pump. If it does not have the Hydro Pump, you win. You win with Bastiodon, right? But if it has the Hydro Pump, it can go straight Hydro Pump and beat you. Now some Azumarill out there don't have Hydro Pump. Okay, hence this is a playable match. I feel like Hydro Pump is an essential move for Azumarill, but you know, people are people. And then with Melmetal versus Azumarill, you need the Thunderbolt. You absolutely have to have it. You can go straight Thunderbolt, but you have to block the Hydro Pump, so it's still playable. Next line, Defense Deoxys. Quite a popular choice, right? Defense Deoxys with Thunderbolt can kill Registeel, right? If it doesn't have Thunderbolt, which I feel is the much better moveset, right? Rock Slide, Thunderbolt, I feel is the moveset to go with your Defense Deoxys. But if for some reason, let's say your opponent has Psycho Boost, then you win with Registeel. Hence, this is a playable match. Now, what I mean when I say one shield farm down is you have to block once, but you don't have to throw. You can go straight fast attack the opponent down, and with Defense Deoxys versus Bastiodon and Melmetal, you can do this. Just block once, straight counter, you win. Alright, looking good so far, right? But that's quite complicated. Now, Tropius, Meganium, you're gonna see those on, a decent amount of teams, definitely. But Venusaur is a little bit off meta, but I think that should be there for future comparisons of other Pokemon. It looks complicated, but we'll get through this, alright? Tropius versus Registeel is a zero shield throw for Registeel, alright? You don't have to block. You just go straight Flash Cannon, you beat Tropius. And then with Bastiodon versus Tropius, it is one shield farm down, right? So block with your Bastiodon, straight smackdown, straight fast attack on Tropius, you beat it. Last one over here, Melmetal versus Tropius is playable only because you need the Rock Slide. If you have the Rock Slide, you can beat it. If you don't have the Rock Slide, you can't. We're done with Tropius. We're moving on to Meganium versus Registeel. You have to land one Earthquake and one Frenzy Plant, right? So it's playable. If you block the Earthquake, no way Meganium is gonna win. You just go straight Flash Cannon, alright? So playable. Bastiodon versus Meganium and Venusaur is actually very IV based, so get yourself a fantastic IV Bastiodon because it does make a difference, right? As you can see with default stats, you're not gonna survive one Earthquake, but if you have maximized stats, you're actually gonna get to the Flamethrower. If you don't know what I'm talking about, right? If you don't know anything about PvP IVs, check out this video right here, alright? that will explain everything. So again, with Bastiodon versus Meganium and Venusaur, you have to have fantastic IVs because you will survive to the second flamethrower, and you can run it any way you like. You can go straight Frenzy Plant, straight Earthquake, straight Frenzy Plant with Venusaur. If you have fantastic IVs, you're gonna get to the second flamethrower that will kill them. Alright, so Bastiodon, you can see the blue, alright, over with the Venusaur Meganium. So yeah, IV based. But with Melmetal, it's a straight up loss. Melmetal cannot beat Meganium. It can go straight Frenzy Plant, it can go straight Earthquake. In the one shield scenario, you're gonna lose that. Alright, so Tropius, done. Meganium, done. We're moving on to Venusaur. Venusaur versus Registeel, straight Flash Cannon. In the one shield scenario, you have that. Okay, nice. With Melmetal, since you already know Bastiodon, it's IV based. With Melmetal, you have to have the Rock Slide if you want any chance of beating Venusaur, right? So straight Rock Slide, you have that, but you have to have the Rock Slide. Okay, so playable, I guess. You just have to have that Rock Slide. Alright guys, so let's wrap up this whole first page. What do you see? What you see is clearly that Registeel is the much better steel type compared to the other two, right? But this is the first page, okay? So chill. Registeel has the best overall coverage, plus it has multiple chances to give you a massive advantage, like with Altaria and Tropius. Melmetal is a close second, but the thing is, it loses that Meganium fight clearly, and with some of the matches, you're gonna need Rock Slide, you're gonna need Thunderbolt, so it becomes a very moveset dependent Pokemon. Plus with Melmetal, you don't have the same opportunities like Registeel versus Altaria, Registeel versus Tropius to gain that massive advantage. And then with Bastiodon, it's kind of like a half-half situation, right? It doesn't have the best coverage, it actually has the worst, but it has opportunities to give you a massive advantage, like hard counter Altaria, one shield, straight farm down Tropius, right? So it has that going for it. Moving on to the second page, the Mud Boys. The Mud Boys destroy steel types, right? So Whiscash, Swampert, Mud Boys destroy the steel types. Plus, it's a horror story for Bastiodon because it's a zero shield throw, straight Mud Bomb, straight Hydro Cannon, straight Earthquake, whatever you like. Next line, the very popular Skarmory. Skarmory versus Registeel, zero shield throw, straight Focus Blast. Bastiodon versus Skarmory, there's some tips and tricks here, alright? So it's a one shield farm down, but don't block the first couple of charge attacks, right? Let's say your opponent threw 2 sky attacks, no need to block. Just straight farm it down, okay? Because Skarmory needs 2 Flash Cannons and 1 Sky Attack to kill Bastiodon. Plus, it has to have fantastic IVs. That's a lot to ask for, alright? So if your opponent starts throwing straight Sky Attack, no need to block. Just straight farm down, throw on the next Pokemon. Melmetal versus Skarmory, you don't have to worry about your moveset. You can go straight Thunderbolt, straight Rock Slide, just block once, one shield scenario, right? You have that. Now, the next Pokemon, I hope you know what that Pokemon is. It's Toxicroak, right? It's all losses, okay? All losses for the steel types. With Bastiodon, Melmetal, it doesn't even have to block, alright? With Registeel, one shield, straight farm down, straight counter, you got it. The Poison Frog Fighter, Toxicroak, is my fighting type representative, but you can have Medicham there, you can kind of like change it to whatever you like. But the thing is, it's just bad news. Fighting types versus the steel types is bad news. The reason why I chose Toxicroak is because it has a chance to kill Azumarill, right? Which is another very, very popular choice. Ghost types. Haunter and Alolan Marowak. These are actually some of the most dangerous Pokemon you're gonna encounter in Go Battle League. Like, their charge attacks, chunk. Registeel can tank a Shadow Ball from Haunter, so you just block once, whatever it is, Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, you got it, and then you just go straight Flash Cannon, you have that match. But Alolan Marowak, the only reason why it became popular a long time ago, I guess, and I guess you still see like a couple here and there in Go Battle League, is because of Registeel. That thing is like its sole purpose, well, you know, it's also a good anti-fighting Pokemon, but the big thing about Alolan Marowak is that it slays Registeel hard, right? Well, not really hard counter, but zero shield throw, straight Bone Club. Now, just to compare and contrast Bastiodon here from its fellow steel type brethren, Bastiodon is a fantastic ghost type slayer. You block once, you straight farm down, you have both of them. And once again, to compare and contrast, Melmetal is the worst one. It is the worst one if we match against Haunter. Haunter is so dangerous. Land the Shadow Ball, you can kill Melmetal. And then with Marowak, it's a clear loss. One shield, straight Bone Club, straight Rock Slide, or if you have Thunderbolt, you're gonna lose. Guys, we are flying through this graphic. We are on the last line of the second page, and the third page is so much shorter compared to the first and the second, right? So yeah, last line. Charmers, amazing, like one of the matchups that you have to pray for if you're leading with a steel type, right? If you're leading Registeel, hope and pray that you get a Charmer. The Charmers have started to pick up. I've seen them as the lead, I've seen them as the closer, and if you get this matchup, amazing, great. Nothing to talk about. The graphic just explains it, okay? No blocking, straight flash cannon. And then with Bastiodon, you hard counter Wigglytuff, just straight smackdown. With Clefable, you block once, you straight smackdown. And then with Melmetal, you just play Rock Slide, Thunderball. There's nothing to talk about. Alright, so let's wrap up this second page. What do you see? What you see here is that Bastiodon is such a hard counter to the things that it beats, and is also hard countered by the things that counter it. It's got no flex, right? This thing is rigid as a rock, okay? It's just, it wins what it wins, it loses what it loses. And that's actually why I don't recommend Bastiodon for Go Battle League, because it's so rigid, right? And the thing is, for Go Battle League, where you have blind battles, you have to have some flexibility, right? You have to have some way of getting over whatever counters you somehow, because you don't know what's out there, guys. You don't know what your opponent is gonna bring. Now, with all of that said, Bastiodon is the one that shines here in page 2. Here in page 2, Bastiodon is king, right? Amazing coverage, multiple ways of giving you an advantage, and actually can probably take out maybe 2 of these Pokemon if you line it right. Okay, so I understand why it's so attractive to a lot of people. Coming in at a very close, very respectable second place, Registeel. Registeel, the only problem that it has is Alolan Marowak, which was, you know, it's kind of popularized because of Registeel. And we are finally at the third page, and there's actually only 2 Pokemon here, and the first one, Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu became kind of popular because it can kill Registeel and Azumarill, making it a very, very solid anti-meta Pokemon. So Alolan Raichu, Registeel, one shield, Registeel loses to Alolan Raichu, okay? Bastiodon does what Bastiodon does, blocks once, straight farm down, and then you throw on the next Pokemon. And then Melmetal is playable only because you need the Rock Slide. If you have the Rock Slide, you have it. If you don't, no. Last Pokemon that we're gonna talk about, Umbreon. And Umbreon is a clear match for Registeel and Bastiodon, but for Melmetal, you actually lose, and that's with Foul Play and with Dark Pulse, right? So yeah, clear match either way, and clear loss either way. So nothing really to wrap up with the third page, right? It's just 2 Pokemon, but let me give you my thoughts on these 3 Pokemon, starting with Registeel. It's number 1 on PvPoke for a very, very good reason. Amazing coverage, multiple chances of giving you a big advantage, right? So yes, very good Pokemon. Bastiodon is like 50-50 for me. If you win a match, amazing, right? If you get it lined up to something that you counter, you probably counter that thing hard. But if you align it to something that it loses to, it's a horror story. Absolutely no flex, as rigid as a Mongol pencil, right? If you try to bend it, it will snap. Okay, so use it, sure, but with caution. Melmetal seems pretty stinky compared to the other 2. Not as good coverage as Registeel, also not as many opportunities to give you like an amazing advantage compared to like Bastiodon, right? So it's kind of like a middle child type thing. But what's something that we've learned throughout this entire video is that Registeel is amazing. It is amazing, and people are gearing up to beat it. That's why people started to use Alolan Marowak like a long time ago, and then you still see a couple here and there, right? But more popular now, Alolan Raichu. And you know, Melmetal kind of works a lot like Registeel, right? So kind of like an alternative choice if you're starting to get pissed off at this yellow map. I don't know. But that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Remember to leave a like, comment down below which is your favorite steel type Pokemon. It doesn't have to be for PvP. It's just, what's your favorite steel type? Subscribe if you haven't yet. Ding that notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys!